The Sciforror Film Podcast. Hello and welcome to another extra episode of the Sciforror Film Podcast, and today I'm joined by not one but two guests, actor, director and actress, author, screenwriter. So I have Tony Mardon and Lauren Jane Barnett.
Hi, how you doing?
Hiya, I'm fine, thank you. How are you? You both okay?
Yeah. We're actually down just outside Canterbury. It's my mum's birthday today, so this is coming from mum's house.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll try not to bite into your time with her too much.
No, not at all. It's all good. It's nice to get out.
Okay, it was nice to see you at Romford and to see your film there, which we will discuss a little bit more a bit later. I'll start off as I do with everybody. Just give me an idea of how you got into filmmaking, on writing and that sort of thing, and how you got to where you are now, and more specifically, how you got into doing the sort of horror stuff.
Oh, okay. Do you want to?
So for me, I started off. I did a bit of extras work, and then I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the sort of. And I've always liked film, don't get me wrong. I grew up watching horror films. I love horror is my go-to. I love it. And then I started, I was a teacher. I did some extras work. I got a part in Darren Ward's Beyond Fury, which was amazing. And then from there, I just kind of kept going until I decided to sort of start making my own film, Witches of the Sands. And some other bits and pieces along the way, and that was kind of how I got into it, and then met great people at places like Horror on Sea and horror cons and things, and so it's like a little network of people, and I do something for them, they do something for me, and that's kind of how I got into to making stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
And I, similarly to him, I grew up watching horror. My dad was a huge Hitchcock fan, so lots of the Universals and things when I was little.
Yeah.
And then I came over here. I was doing my PhD in the history of photography. And when you're doing your PhD, you end up with a lot of time on your hands to overthink things. And so to kind of blow off steam and to distract myself, I'd go on these walks around London. There's a thing called the London Walking Company, and I would just go on these walks. And I loved horror, and I kept looking for a London horror one. This was back in 2012, so before even the Vincent Price walks, stuff like that. And I really wanted a horror one. And so a friend of mine was like, well, I'm sick of hearing you complain about it. Why don't you just do one? And
Right.
So I did one, and then I did a couple others. And then at one point I met the publisher of my first book, Deathlines, and he was like, this is great. People love walks. People love horror. You should write a book. And so it was just like purely luck of the draw that Mark knew about it. And then I did Deathlines. And when I was promoting Deathlines, I met Tony, which is why it was good for him to go first, because he's who got me into the horror world.
Well, we met at Darkfest. Alan Bryce's Dark Side Darkfest. I was showing our film Libra.
Right.
And you were there promoting
Deathlines.
And then Pauline Piet, the actress in Satanic Rites of Dracula, she's a friend of mine. She was talking to Lauren. And I think I walked past and Pauline said, oh, you got to meet Tony to Lauren. And that's how we met. And also, I should just say as well, about how I got into horror. As I said, I grew up watching horror, loving horror. I grew up in the 70s when everything was scary in the 70s. Everything. Strangers around the corner. You're going to die if you play by water. You're going to die if you fly a kite under electric cables and things. There were these crazy, weird TV shows. All that it's like Sapphire, and then Sapphire and Steel came on. And so it was like you couldn't kind of help but be influenced by that. If you were of that mind, I think. So definitely a catalyst for me, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I grew up at the same sort of time, and it was very much, even the things in between shows where they were sort of like, as you say, the public warning information films and
Yeah,
things were like,
yeah.
they were, some of them were dead scary.
Don't take sweets from strangers. Don't play in building sites. I mean, all things that you think, okay, that's good. Don't you know? And that one that petrified me the most was that there's the fireworks going off in someone's face, and I've been petrified of fireworks
Yeah,
ever
no,
since. I think,
I get that.
you
I
know,
completely get that.
yeah.
So,
But effective. And Charlie says, yeah,
yeah, I
fantastic.
remember all them. Now, Tony, you have done quite a lot of films. And I mean, you didn't really start doing your films until sort of like what, 2012, was it?
Yes, I think I thought. Let me think. I don't know. The first thing I did was I was an extra, unpaid, in a film called Gangsters, Guns and Zombies.
Yep.
And I've literally got it. A friend of ours came over and he said, "Oh, a friend of mine is making a film. Do you want to be a zombie in it?" And of course, as someone who grew up with Romero and etc. etc., of course, I said, I was like desperate to do it. And so yeah, I did it, and I think they quite liked me, so they had me back a couple of times. I was living, was I at the time? I was living in Whitstable, and it was filmed in Dartford. And bizarrely, the second time I worked with them, they were filming in Whitstable, so that was perfect. And yeah, so yeah, there was that, and then I joined an extras agency because I was a teacher. I was a school teacher at the time. I joined an extras agency called Extra People, and I forgot about it. And then, it must be months later, I got an availability request from them to be in a series called The Tunnel with Clemence Posey and I can't think of the guy's name.
I
So again.
I remember that. I remember
Yeah,
the
and it was
series.
based
Yeah,
on. I think it was based on The Bridge, which was was it Danish? I think I can't remember.
think so, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it was about the relationship between the English police and the French police in the tunnel, the Channel Tunnel and things like that, and it was and I was a recurring extra on that, playing a detective. And I really enjoyed it. And I think there were a couple of times when I've had to phone in sick to school to do it. I can say it now because I don't teach anymore. But yeah, it's right. It's terrible. I know, right? It's awful. But I really enjoyed it, and I did some extra work. And then, as I say, then I got in. Then I was in Downwards Beyond Fury,
right.
and I loved it. And then it went from there. And then I thought, well, I'll have a go at making a film. So that must be. This was kind of around COVID time, The Witches of the Sands, and so I started writing it. We're almost finished now, so about 5-6 years later, we're finally in post production. But it just grew and grew and grew and grew into this sort of beast of I don't know how to describe it. I think we're splitting it into two parts, so because it's so big.
Right.
But I mean, but that sort of organic process is what makes it interesting, I think.
Absolutely.
The fact that if it stuck with my original idea, it would have been nothing. But the fact that as I was growing as a person, the film was growing as well, and there's many sort of things that relate to what was happening in my life in the film.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like up and down, but we're finally kind of there now, and so very excited by it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
But I've been very lucky, to have been in some great films. I
Yeah.
don't know if I mention one, I have to mention all of them. So
No, I know. I know. No, I mean, I've actually seen some of the films that you've both been involved in.
Oh, great.
At different times. Well, I saw Horoscopes, the the full film 1 and 2. Seen both of those, which you were involved in both those. Libra in one and Rabbit.
Right.
well, Libra was originally going to be in Horoscopes 1, but
Oh.
was pulled because it was they deemed it as too what's the word?
It was around the fact
Too graphic.
It
was too graphic. It was too graphic. It was too graphic for them.
Oh,
which
right.
that's fine. That's their prerogative.
I think I've seen it though. I don't know if it was
You may well have done. I'll tell you what. It's at the moment. It's in Dean of the Dead's holiday special.
Oh, okay.
So it's in that, and then we're also doing an anthology film now, which is going to incorporate some of our other stuff. So there's Rabbit, that was in Horoscopes too. So
Yep.
there's Libra, Rabbit, and Dana, which is our latest film.
Yep.
And then there's going to be three more bits and pieces as well, to go into an anthology called Cosis, about psychoses.
All right. Okay.
We will, get an opportunity to get them all out again, which I'm excited about.
There was Mosaic.
Yeah, you were
That's
great. Mr. Daniels is such a funny one, because if you've seen the video shop, it came out
Yeah.
first, but filmically they did Mosaic first. So that should be the first time you see Mr. Daniels. He's way less comedic and crazy than he is in video shop.
And I've seen both of the video shop Tales of Terror films, and in fact had a fleeting blink and you miss it role in the second one.
Oh, how are you in the second one?
I had my brains blown out in one of the trailers.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So
it was. I mean, they're a lot of fun, I think.
Great.
And I love working with that team.
Yeah, oh god,
Yeah.
it was great. So I first kind of I was very lucky, and actually it's kind of weirdly a date I got to be on Witches. It was sort of a like, oh, I like you, would you like to be in my movie kind of moment.
that was my best line.
That's a chat line that you can't, I mean, you can't really fail to hit with that, can you?
No.
I mean, he was going to say, literally, his sort of first line was sort of like, oh, I'm making this movie, and if you want to be in it. And I was like, yes, please. But my first kind of proper thing was video shop, and Alex was just it was really, Alex Churchill, who sort of directs it and produces it with Lyle, they were just so awesome. And it's very much, they're an institution in the indie horror community, because anybody like me shows up and is willing to give it a go, and they're like, great, make a film, be in it, whatever.
I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, I can't remember. I think I saw the volume 1, and I was chatting to Lau and a couple of other people afterwards, and then I got an email saying, "Are you going to be in Romford this weekend? If you are, come up and we'll do it."
There you go.
Well,
I think what it's like. For the sort of budgets we're working on, you rely on the kindness and goodwill of people around you, which it's lovely that people are willing to give up their time, and obviously I think people get something out of it because they're in a film, but actually take it. I think one of the most precious things these days is time. Spending time with your family, spending time at home, even staying in bed all day, whatever it is you want to do. So to give up that time to do something, I think is a really lovely thing.
Yeah. They are such nice people. They're just really good fun to be around.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, you don't do it for I don't know if I can swear, but on here, but you don't do it for wankers. You wouldn't do it for someone who was just treated you like shit. And
absolutely.
As well, like you said, they are very excited. We all make films because we love making films, but they love bringing together people who love to make films as well. They've got a very good. We ended up meeting so many people through them, or by that. Alex Gent, who did some of the makeup with Jay for Dana, I met through Alex. Alex, I think, met Jay through you. So it becomes this big cross patchwork of a community, like a family, and that's the best of indie horror.
I first met Jay. So Jay does a lot of our special effects, and he's done a lot for other people now as well, which is great. But I actually, first time he got involved was I had a boot fair stall, and I was just selling some stuff. And this guy just walked past, and I think I had a Creep Show 2 poster framed on the table, and he was like, "Oh, I like this," and he tried to haggle me down. He tried to haggle me down. But I was quite strict on it, but he ended up buying it, and then we just ended up chatting about films and things. So it's interesting the way that these things. It's like as I say, like meeting Lauren at Dark Fest. It was like meeting Jade at Boot Fair. You know,
Yeah.
it's just it's sort of strange the way things happen. And then, funnily enough, Andy Boothby, who does a lot of our DOP, camera work cinematographer, and a good friend of ours we work with a lot on Libra and Rabbit and things, James Newton. I just applied. He was casting for a film called Black Lizard Tales, and I just sent my audition tape in. It was literally me. All I did was I gagged myself, covered myself in fake blood, and tried to scream. And I got the part. So obviously then we all became good friends and we all work together now, a lot, which so it's just it's great. It's great when things like that sort of symbiosis and serendipity
Yeah.
it happens.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Can I ask Lauren? I mean, you started off with the looks of it with writing short stories and books, and then went into becoming a screenwriter. I mean, did you find that transition easy, or how hard did you find it to transition between the two?
Well, I mean, it's a weird. That's an interesting question because I suppose I'm still learning it because I'm so new at screenwriting. But I think it's not too bad. But that being said, the first time I did it was for weirdly it was Darner. It was writing Darner. It was because I was talking to Tony through this idea and this relationship and stuff, and he was like, "Well, try it as film. You love film. You can kind of picture it. You've been on sets and stuff now." And so that came really naturally. I think I don't think we changed too much from the original script from Dahl. Little tweaks, but not like any rewrites or anything. But then it came out first, but I wrote it second. Robot Armadillo. I wrote it as a short story and then had to like turn it into a film. So for some things it comes quite naturally and easy, and some things it doesn't. But I've been really lucky because I've gotten to very quickly I've gotten to write a lot of stuff, but I've had
Right.
quite a lot of people trust me to work with them, and that's helped a lot. So I wrote with Alex and you on Studio 69 in Video Shop, and
Yeah.
then it's not out yet, but Tom Lee Rutter, who did Pocket Film of Superstitions,
Yeah.
he asked me when he saw Robert Armadillo to write with him on Trial of the Undying. So I got kind of like apprenticeships, I guess, in screenwriting from people who knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
And so I could come in with sort of I can do a story arc, but had to like get rid of all those descriptions and all of the way in which you're thinking things. You now have to turn it into saying stuff out loud and make it seem natural that you would say it out loud. And that was
Yeah.
really nice because I had somebody who knew what they were doing help me through those moments.
Yeah. I
So
get that.
I think I had an easier time than most because I had so much help, honestly.
I've got to say,
Lauren's one of these very annoying people who's ridiculously talented. And very clever, and
He loves to say that. He's marrying me.
yeah, but no, which is true. Well, I told you she was clever. No, Lauren is just an amazing writer, and whereas it takes me days to fill up a page, and then go back and totally rewrite it. Lauren somehow manages to have something written in the same amount of time, a whole piece, and I don't understand how it works, but yeah, very 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 clever, very talented.
I've got to say, I haven't actually seen it, but as soon as I saw the title, Robot Armadillo, I thought I want to see that film and find out what it's about because it's just got one of those titles that just makes you go, "What's that?"
It is a fun one. It's on YouTube, so like go to Large
I
Potato
will,
Small Potatoes YouTube, and but it's honestly the thing about it, as much as I love the writing of it was a lot of fun, and you'll see it's really weird and esoteric. The animator that I have who does the animation for Witches, Mark, made that film to a whole nother level, and then the soundscape as well. So that's one of those ones
yeah,
that what you don't even need to like actually listen to, just even just watching it, it's so pretty. Love that.
cool.
Yeah, it's a very clever 5 minutes.
It's a weird old film, I'm not gonna lie. It's even like compared to Dana, it's definitely not for everyone, but it's visually spectacular and the soundscape's amazing.
Fair enough. No, that's cool. I will check it out. Okay, so as I say, I had the pleasure of seeing Dana at the Romford Horror Film Festival, and I thought it was excellent. I've got to say, I think the look of it, the cinematography was brilliant. The close up camera work was absolutely brilliant.
Mm.
And you both played your parts incredibly well, and it just worked. The whole thing worked completely, and I was really immensely impressed. I thought it was really good.
That's very kind of you. It was you know what? It was again, it's Lauren's idea, very personal subject. You know, the background of it, very personal to Lauren. Actually, you might want to talk about that in a minute. I don't know. And but it was a joy. Again, it was, Lauren's idea. Lauren wrote it. It was quite nice me in this one because I was just in it. I didn't have to worry about anything else, which was really nice for a change. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the special effects are great, thanks to Jay and Alex. The cinematography, thanks to Andy. Like I said, the close-ups there was a whole lens we hired
Yeah,
which
that
which
was.
which looked stunning. And again, Andy knew exactly what he was doing. James director was he's great because he just kind of he just does it. He just sort of it's like it just happens with just
Yeah, it's natural.
very natural, very easy to work with, and also it's great for us to work together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, makes life easier for us. And
I always say about it, it's one of those things with that film. That film is amazing because every single person brought their A game, and it's all of us. Like it really is. Like you said,
yeah,
yes, the cinematography is amazing, but part of that reason that the cinematography is amazing is that you do have the great special effects, and then it's added on to with the soundscape and the direction, and obviously, hopefully, the acting's good. But like every single person really brought the best, and I'm getting all, I'm really proud of it. It is,
I,
I love it when someone goes, that was really disturbing. That's my
yeah,
favorite,
I,
is when they're
I,
like,
I think you should be incredibly proud of it. I thought it was really good. But
that's lovely.
I mean, without necessarily needing to go into too much detail or anything, you did. I mean, Tony was saying it was quite a personal sort of story. Was it?
yeah,
So where did the idea come from?
so if you were able to see some of the Q&A, I sort of talked about it in a very very kind of overarching way. But basically, what happened is I'm previously married, and my previous relationship was one where I was very much, my whole life was taking care of their mental health. It wasn't a physical health thing, and it was that almost carer thing. He's not obviously dying, but your whole life becomes about that. And I had a really hard time. You lose yourself, but not just in the sense that you're spending all this time on someone else, but I became in some ways kind of the worst version of myself because I was so exhausted and strained. I was always really angry, I was always really frustrated.
Yeah,
And like I mentioned, I was talking through trying to write through this experience with Tony, because I was really struggling to get it out as a short story, but I like to write through these kind of things. And film, something about it just clicked, because it's not, when you're writing a short story, you really do need to have, and this does have a story structure, but you really do need to have a resolution.
yeah,
And the thing with this kind of life experience is it's not, there isn't a resolution to it. You live it, and then it happens, and you have to live with the fact that it happened and who you
yeah,
became. And so that kind of worked so much better, because in a film you can give someone an experience rather than necessarily a strict story. And yeah, it's honestly, it was really, this sounds silly, but it was really cathartic for me. It was really great for me to do it
yeah.
and to
No,
experience it.
I can
But it was
understand that
also
completely.
I
the
mean,
film.
Lauren was bloody brilliant in it, and I think for that exact reason, because it was so personal, I think there was so much emotion in what Lauren was doing,
Yeah,
and the fact that and also the fact that she'd produced it, she brought it all together. So and then bringing all that into her performance was next level.
I mean, the thing for me is because of that. Although it's kind of slightly surreal and slightly, disturbing and that kind of thing, the thing about it is that the emotion you put into the character makes it feel believable, makes it feel real. So although it is slightly surreal and disturbing, you look at it and you go, I actually, it feels like you were experiencing that. and it was really good.
But that's really nice. I mean, and the thing is, there's so many people like like Lauren was saying that it's obviously not the physical part of it, but that sort of emotional abuse that is so prevalent in society. It happens
Yeah,
all the time. So it was interesting to work with that sort of
yeah.
idea.
And
And that's
I would definitely recommend it to anybody to see it because it is. I thought it was great.
That's very kind. Thank you. Yeah, I
we're
really appreciate that.
we've been excited. I think an exciting thing, like for me, obviously there's the personal side of it, but even this is even true when it's not personal. When you're a writer, you get so many chances to re-experience it, if you know what I mean. You write it, but then a director sees it in a certain way, and then you actually see what the edited version is.
Yeah,
But seeing it with the audience has been the coolest thing for me, and it was the same with Video Shop because that was obviously my first experience. But it's been amazing to have people go, that like really hit me, and or like little moments, somebody, the sound of the clock like metronome,
Mm,
that really hit them in certain ways. And it's awesome to kind of, we always think of horror as okay, you're dealing with really upsetting stuff, so you think of it as maybe being really isolating, but when you're part of the horror community, you know how much that brings people together. And I
yes,
love being able to go in my own like teeny tiny little indie horror way, I did a film that's bringing people to get going, yes, I feel this, or I get this, or that was super like weird or creepy, and they bond. I
yeah, do
love
you know
that.
what?
yeah,
Just one interesting thing actually. I that just popped into my head is that people like you did as well. People when talking about Dana, they mention the sound and they
mm,
mention that ticking, and it's really interesting because the special effects are brilliant. They're really great, but it's that sound that is so important, as important as the special effects.
I
oh
feel
yeah,
And it's interesting, and that's why sound. I know it's obvious, but that's why sound is so important, and that's what people tend to forget about sometimes. Um,
absolutely, yeah,
and
no,
it's so simple, but it was so effective.
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it does make a big difference if
Yeah,
the sound sets up the atmosphere, and it kind of like can on its own, just the sound can be quite sort of like jarring and disturbing because you kind of like it's slightly unusual or unnatural to what you normally expect to happen.
mm.
Okay. Right. We are going to be reviewing another film you've been involved in, Exhibition of Evil. We're going to be
Yeah.
reviewing that on our next episode, actually.
Oh, cool.
great.
Are you talking to Sam and people, or is it you just reviewing it?
I have it. We are just reviewing it. I have
Ah,
interviewed Sam before on the show,
right,
and he
right.
came on to be guest presenter last season after when things
Ah,
changed. So yeah, I've met. I know Sam. I've met him a couple of times, and I met him at Romford, and I've interviewed
yeah,
and talked to him a few times. So, but yeah, we're going to. I saw that was streaming now and that sort of thing. So I thought we'd do that because I like doing independent films because
sure.
it's nice to sort of try to give back a bit by sort of promoting them and that sort of thing.
We filmed our well, we filmed my segment at Horror on Sea
Okay.
in Southend. So it was literally the weekend of Horror on Sea, and so Sam knew what he wanted. With along with you were helping out, and Stephen Sibley was on camera, and a couple of others, and a very very small crew. And Steve was the actor, Stephen Kerr. I can't miss on him. And Andrea was the kind of the ghost. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it, and I wanted to work with them, with Sam and Trash Arts for a while, and it was
Yeah.
really nice to get the opportunity. And I know it was strange though because we filmed it on the first Saturday
The first
of Horror on Sea, and they showed it at the second weekend of Horror on Sea. And that's quite funny because there's me taking 6 years to try and get something something together. And I was like, oh, okay, this is where I'm going wrong. But no, I really enjoyed it. I had a great experience, and yeah.
To me, as somebody who'd got to just, I was behind. I mean, I'm an extra in one of the scenes, but I was basically just behind the scenes and helping out. The coolest thing for me was he'd set himself this goal of he was going to film it in a day and edit it in a week, and we're like, what? You're mad! And actually, it's so you'd never know. You'd never know.
I'm amazed sometimes, but there's a few films that we've reviewed that are part of the 48-hour film challenge.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I am absolutely amazed sometimes by what somebody can do from having a blank page to a finished film in 48 hours is incredible.
It's bonkers, isn't it?
Amazing.
It's bonkers. Actually, bizarrely, that was the second film I was in that we filmed at Horror on Sea. The first one was Danny Thompson's Bad Moon Rising.
Oh yeah.
And I just did one scene, directed by Danny. It was filmed by MJ Dixon from Myco, and it was just in one of the side rooms at Horror on Sea. And I did that, and I was in a scene with Maria Lee Metheringham. And that was a lot of fun, and I'd put all this fake tan on. And so I was just walking around this hotel in Essex, and then people were like looking at me. I had a big gold chain on. And people were like, I think this must have been like the second time I'd ever been there. And people were like, what the fuck?
You did look ridiculous.
I looked absolutely stupid. But
it was perfect for the
film. Perfect. It was perfect. I looked a tit. I looked a tit. Wow. Yeah, no, I did. I'm gonna get that fake tan for our wedding now.
I'll get the darner patches.
Yeah. Okay.
What if anything do you both have coming up, or you are working on at the moment for future?
Well, the book.
The book is the big.
The book's really exciting. We've got a book coming out. It's on Telos Publishing. Hopefully this sometime this year.
We don't have the date quite yet, but hopefully this end of this year.
And it's called Natural Thorn Killers.
With a T.
Okay.
With natural, and it's horror films with plants as antagonists.
Oh, right.
It's kind of like it's a guide, like kind of a guidebook, as it were. So it's sectioned out thematically. So like forest-based horror ones where like trees attack, and that includes sort of smaller things like in Evil Dead, where it's not the whole film. Poltergeist. And then there's like mushroom, carnivorous plants, worship. And so you get a little chance to like discover movies you might not otherwise. So there's from all over the world, like Acacia's from Korea, got Italian, Spanish.
Tango.
But then it's got a little bit of there's like a summary, but then there's a bit of a review as well. So it was a lot of fun for us to do because you get a chance to like discover all these insane movies, but you also see some movies where you like, the review is like, watch the first 10 minutes, look at the poster, that's all you need to do.
It was quite funny. It was one of the great things about it was being able to write it with Lauren, because we basically our job for a year was just watching plant-based horror films. It was great. So if it was one we were really familiar with, say for example Evil Dead, we'd watch it once, make notes, and we'd go off and do our thing. Sometimes it's a film we hadn't seen before, we'd watch it once, then watch it again and make notes, and then go from there. But it was just really nice. Lauren brought a more academic side to the writing, I suppose.
He's more the artistic filmmaking side, so it's a good blend.
Yeah, so it's all blended really well, and both very enthusiastic about them. So I'm really looking forward to that coming out. That'll be out. Natural Thorn Killers on Telos Publishing, because there aren't that many books. There's a lot of books on animal horror or and things, but plant horror not so much. So we thought that, and they're always interesting. Some are obviously a lot better than others, but it's an interesting subgenre and especially when you look at some of the sort of the social issues of the time and what was going on in the world with the green movements and things. And it was really, really good fun. And then
we mentioned we're working on the anthology.
We're working on the anthology Cosis, short for Psychosis. So we'll have that. We've got a couple more scenes to film. James Newton's doing 1 or 2. We're doing 1 or 2. We've got the wraparound to shoot. but we've that's moving on quite nicely.
The goal for that is next year, but we'll if anybody happens to follow the Dana Instagram, that's gonna eventually like evolve into the COSIS because it's part of it. So all that will be updated there. You are editing Witches.
Witches, right? Witches is being edited. Yeah. So we've split it into 2 films, 1A and 1B. So I really want the first one to be out the end of this year.
Okay.
Very excited about it. It's bonkers. You know, it's a crazy film. It's like I said before, it's like Monty Python meets The Office meets Evil Dead. I don't know how to. It's like weird animation and songs and gore and nudity, and it's just bonkers. So it's going to offend everyone, and I'm hoping.
Everyone.
I think it's something for everyone, unless you're under 18. And yeah, for sure. Yeah, but no, I think it's you know, what I didn't want to do, and I said this before, is I don't want to make something boring.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather you had a strong opinion, positive or negative. That's great. Then I've done something. I think there. What I don't want to do is, you know, and it's very easy with a micro budget film to make something quite tedious. Actually, it's very easy to do that with a Marvel film as well, or you know, the new Star Wars, or any budget. You know, it's oh my god, it's a yawn fest.
I always think that the worst thing you can do is make a film that everyone goes, yeah.
Right, exactly. That's my philosophy. Yeah. You can hate it as much. That's great, and we can chat about why you hate it, because you know that's fine. And people are going to hate it because it's different. It's definitely not for everyone. But if like 1 out of every 100 people get something out of it, then I'm happy. So that's on the cards.
And then I'm writing another fiction book, not science fiction, so horror, gothic mystery, I think is probably more accurate.
Okay.
Which is, so it's at that stage where I'm sending it out to publishers with the first 10,000 and trying to sort out the sort of publishing side of it. So I have no idea where it's going, but I think it's very good. And it's called, hopefully will be called Revamp, and it's imagine a sort of vampire Miss Marple. So older vampires, kind of overlooked by the world, goes to a spa because her friend's trying to get her like revived and interested in life, and she thinks she sees one of the other vampires at the spa pushed into the sun. But of course, there's no body because they burst into ash. And at the time, she's on hallucinogenic tea. So she's not 100% sure what she's seen. And hence the rest of the
It's very Columbo. It's very Columbo.
It's light. It's a bit more silly, hence gothic mystery. But it's a lot of fun. It's very much a kind of, it's playful, I think. But it's got that, as I hope I always do, it's got that like a little emotional tinge of this woman who's like midlife crisis mode, and then what do you do with that when you're a vampire?
All that, and we're getting married in August. So we've got enough to be getting on with at the moment.
Where would you find the time?
Right, exactly. Yeah, no, it's all exciting.
Yeah. And then of course Darna will be out in a couple other places. I know the next one for sure that we have is in June. It's going to be at the Southend-on-Sea Festival, has a horror on sea takeover day, so we'll be there doing that. And hopefully we're still, you know, you submit to however many festivals, so hopefully that will still be in and amongst everything else. We'll try and go to as many of those as we can to chat to people.
Well, yeah, no, I hope it does well at the festivals. I think it should, because I don't see, as I say, it is a really good film. I wish you all the best with getting Witches of the Sands finished and out, and with the book.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And hopefully we will see more from you in the years to come.
That's lovely. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having us on and chatting to us.
Thank you for being on the show. It's really good to have you on there. It's always good to talk to people that are fun to talk to. You know, it's great.
That's lovely. Yeah.
Well,
so, you know what? I just love horror films. Yeah, we both do. We just love watching horror films, and and then to being able to make them and write them and things, it is a massive bonus. So, and be in them.
And it's so nice to chat to people who say you'll happily watch the indie stuff and you don't mind.
Yeah,
you know.
And if people who appreciate the effort and the love, the enthusiasm, I think is important.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, thank you for being on the show. Thank you to everyone for watching, listening. Check out, I will put, as I always do, links to social media and things like that. So keep an eye out for things coming up in the near future. And Tony and Lauren, it's been great. Thank you very much. Everybody out there, thank you, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, my friend.
The Sciforror Film Podcast.